Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a quick little update and some things to talk about with regards to Squad. So if you've been keeping up with the channel, you should know about some of the things we're expecting to be added to Squad. For example, the Turkish Land Forces should be here pretty soon. At some point, the Sanctioned Islands will be added, and now weapon skins. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, please like the video, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts on this addition to the update on the way, and let's discuss this. So if you didn't know, on Wednesday, OWI posted one of their normal dev blogs on their website. This was about weapon skins. So the summary of this is that OWI is going to be releasing weapon skins, sort of like they have with emotes in packs that you can purchase. This appears to be included with the Turkish Land Forces update that should be on the way pretty soon. However, it doesn't actually say that the Sanctioned Islands will be a part of this update. So it appears the packs can be previewed in the in-game store and purchased on Steam. You'll be able to add the skins to your weapons via the customization screen on the main menu. And so you can get a good look at it, OWI has also added a new gesture, which is weapon inspection, so you can take a good look at the weaponry. It does appear that OWI has taken special care in how to apply this to the game. First of all, it is weapon specific, meaning that weapon packs will include skins for specific weapons and their variants. So regardless of what kit you have, as long as you are utilizing that weapon, it should have that skin attached to it if you've selected it in your customization screen. These skins are also faction locked, meaning that only the factions that have access to that weapon will be able to apply the skin. And OWI has also said that they are biome dependent, meaning that the skin for certain environments will only appear in the environment they were designed for, so desert will only be visible on desert maps. And just in case you had legacy weapon skins, you will still be able to access those via the customization menu. And yes, there are currently weapon skins that already exist in Squad, so this is not entirely new. These date back to early events, Kickstarter founders, and tournament winners. OWI will be launching 2 camo packs to start with. One will be the Woodland Camo Pack. This features 3 different camos, and here they are. First, you have the Shade, which is for the M4A1 and the M4 carbines on the USA or USMC factions. You also have the Treeline camo for the AK-74M assault rifle on the Russian Ground Forces faction, and the Rainforest skin, which is on the QBZ-95-1 assault rifle and the QBZ-9 5B1 carbine for the PLA or PLA-NMC. Now, the Desert Camo Pack also contains 3 different weapon skins for the same weapon. So you're going to have the Black and Tan for the M4A1 and M4 carbines on the USA or USMC factions. You'll have the Dust Camo skin for the AK-74 assault rifles on the Russian Ground Forces, or the Gobi skin for the QBZ-95 assault rifle, or the carbine for the PLA or PLA-NMC. So very quickly, I want to say that I'm really happy that OWI has specifically talked about the restrictions on these skins in general. They won't be everywhere. You can't apply them to everything. It's going to be very focused. Now, I imagine over time, we'll see more weapon skins that may actually factor into different weaponry. Now, not only am I happy to see them sort of address the restrictions and talk about what they're trying to accomplish with this, but I'm also happy to see that they do appear to be pretty realistic. There's no pink skins going on the guns, and certainly no stickers or charms, at least not yet. Please, OWI, don't get any ideas, but at least there's some limitations in place. It is not unrealistic, in my opinion, to see some sort of weapon paint camo or something like that out there. So this feels like it's done in the right vein. I know a lot of folks are already reacting poorly, similar to how they reacted to emotes showing up in game, which have now become a little bit of a meme and something goofy that you see just in staging phase or sometimes during rounds. Now, I will say this, I haven't purchased emotes because they don't interest me that much. However, these gun skins kind of interest me. Like, for some reason, this is appealing because it kind of gives you a little bit of layer customization in the game. And now that is certainly not required, but it's a nice touch. And of course, as one would expect, we've already started to see some of the negativity around this being added to the game. Now, I can understand it only to a degree, but on the flip side, we have to be realistic about what it takes to keep the game alive and going with updates. And if you just reflect, we've got a bunch of updates this year, including 2 new factions, a faction rework, an entire rework of weapon mechanics. We have a new faction on the way, a new map on the way, and I'm sure there's plenty more that I'm missing. Now, don't get me wrong, I can understand some of the complaints that there are still things that OWI needs to fix in the game. But again, let's be a little bit more realistic about game development. First of all, Squad is a $50 game. While that's not exactly cheap, it's also not the most expensive thing. I mean, we all know a very common game that comes out annually and is almost the same every year that now retails for $70. That's kind of wild that you can output something like that repeatedly and charge that much, right? Now, frankly, from my perspective, this is an okay thing to release for the game. This is nothing that wild. It continues to fund the game, the developer, and hopefully we'll continue to get updates for a long time. Maybe even more weapon packs. And again, as long as they don't start showing up in wild colors, I'm on board. I'm sure some of the perspectives out there are curious to see how far this will go. We had emotes and now weapon skins. Are we going to start getting camos for helicopters or whatever? Who knows? But I do think that it's a really, really good step in the right direction to actually limit where you can use these things. Emotes are pretty limited in what you can use where. And much like that, the weapon skins are also limited in where they can be applied. And let's not forget, this is entirely optional. This is not required. And this is really significant for squad because if you start doing things where it begins to be a requirement to pay for certain stuff, you're going to start fragmenting the community. So I remember back in the day when I was playing Battlefield 1942, there were a couple of expansion packs that came with that game, but only certain servers were actually going to ever run those because not everyone was going to buy an expansion pack. So beyond 1 or 2 servers, it was really difficult to keep those full and populated. Whereas everyone that purchased Battlefield 1942 obviously was going to have the base game. It was just when you started fragmenting into different expansion packs, it began to limit the exposure in those areas because people weren't going to buy add-ons. And that's certainly something I don't want to see with Squad. Like, imagine if they started charging for new factions, like how fragmented that world would get. It's basically impossible because you would hurt much more than you would gain. And again, I totally understand the perspective of we need to fix bugs and stuff like that, but there have been a lot of improvements incorporated into Squad over the last several months and even this year. But it's a little bit of a bummer to see people so quick to be like, oh, I'm uninstalling the game and I don't want any involvement with it just because of this. I don't know, I just don't think it's that significant. I would assume that to some degree, you have to balance a lot of that bug fixing to go in some of the bigger updates, right? Because not everyone's going to be excited for a big update that comes out that is just bug fixes. Like, yeah, a lot of the player base will be there, but new players aren't going to come running to the game because of that. However, you may have a lot of new players coming when they start seeing new maps and factions added to the game, right? Like, there's a little bit more eye candy there to pull in new people. So instead of charging for DLCs or maps and all this other stuff, they're only charging for the weapon skins, which is a minor thing that can be added to the game, and a lot of people I don't think are going to have that big of an issue with it. With the restrictions that OWI has enforced as well in terms of when it is actually going to be noticeable, I think that's a really, really good sign that OWI still understands what the community is looking for in Squad. In other words, don't panic, folks. I think it's going to be all right, and if you look at the current market in terms of video games, there's a whole lot worse that could be happening to Squad that isn't happening. So let me know down below if you plan on picking this up, or if you have any thoughts around other things that they could customize to continue development on the game. And of course, be sure to hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll catch you guys next time.